After more than 3 years of waiting, 2 Santa Clarita families will get some closure tomorrow.
This week, the Cougars will return home to face off against Grossmont at 7 p.m. at Cougar Stadium.
But as COC students may have noticed in the Honor Grove earlier this week,
develop people who build better tomorrows.
This is Kelly Price reporting from Vista Valencia for COC News.
How will this affect the rest of the job market?
Welcome to Canyons News.
Live from Mentry Hall, with news from around the Santa Clarita Valley. This is Canyons News.
Tonight on Canyons News, former Chancellor Diane Van Hook has filed a lawsuit against the Santa Clarita Community College District.
The LA County Fire Department welcomed home urban search and rescue teams returning from Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa.
And as artificial intelligence advances and machines start getting smarter, workers are worried about what this means for their jobs. Good evening. I'm Robin Abshire.
And I'm Alina Guzman. Former College of the Canyons Chancellor Diane Van Hook has filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against the district. Court documents show Van Hook is also suing on claims of age and racial discrimination and a hostile work environment. Last year, in July, the Board of Trustees placed Van Hook on administrative leave before she returned shortly after. The lawsuit claims a climate survey released 2 months before the board's vote was used to oust her. Her legal counsel says the vote came despite the board knowing the survey couldn't factor in employment decisions. Van Hook also accuses a board member of calling for her firing because she was too old. The former chancellor alleges the board's action caused severe emotional distress and that she was forced to retire under the threats of losing her retirement and contract benefits. She claims she was surveilled and denied access to her office before her leave again. Van Hook is seeking over $4 million in damages related to the lawsuit and attorney fees. Late this afternoon, officials at COC provided this response. Quote, "The district has received a copy of the lawsuit and will undertake a vigorous defense against the allegations made. Beyond that, we cannot provide any further comment on pending litigation," unquote.
The off-duty LAPD officer killed in a crash here in Santa Clarita has been identified as Officer Bailey Magana. The crash happened just after 2 a.m. Saturday at the intersection of Cinema Drive and Bouquet Canyon Road in Santa Clarita. Officials say Officer Magana's vehicle slammed into a power pole and burst into flames. Firefighters arrived to find the car fully engulfed, and Magana was pronounced dead at the scene. Bouquet Canyon Road was closed for several hours while investigators processed the scene. Officer Magana was assigned to the Mission area. He leaves behind a wife and 3 children.
After 2 weeks, the urban search and rescue team has returned home from Jamaica after responding to Hurricane Melissa. The team returns after assisting with supplying aid to the citizens of Jamaica, evaluating building conditions, and reconnecting isolated communities. They took the time to reflect on what they had accomplished.
Just from the tempo and taking a pulse on the team, this not only had an impact on the Jamaican citizens, but on them because it was so fulfilling. You saw what you were going to do in the long term, and you could feel, see, and felt fulfilled on some of the short-term things you were doing to make their life better.
The U.S. House has passed a bill to end the longest government shutdown in the nation's history. House representatives returned to session after nearly 2 months away. The Republican-led chamber passed the bill with a 222 to 209 vote. The bill has been signed by President Trump. The Senate passed the legislation on Monday night. The vote came after 8 Democratic senators broke from their party. The bill does not include an extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which Democrats were fighting for. The legislation would extend funding for most government agencies until January 30th. It would also include reversing the layoffs of federal workers.
Despite the end to the shutdown, uncertainty with SNAP payments continues. This local mother says she once depended on SNAP benefits before the government shutdown. Now, she's helping others do what she once struggled to do, put food on the table. Jessica Makashima has more.
I am very proud to announce today that we have reached a deal to end the shutdown and reopen the federal government.
That deal ended one of the longest shutdowns in history in 2019. But today, similar uncertainty looms, with both parties trading blame through what is now the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Millions now wonder how they'll afford their next meal. As the government shutdown continues, one of the most vital safety nets for struggling families, SNAP, is once again caught in the middle.
I'm a stay-at-home mom with a special needs young adult and also 2 kids with their own needs.
The program provides monthly food benefits to more than 40 million Americans.
We were able to supply healthier options, salads, vegetables, protein.
She says the benefits help her feed her kids healthy meals, something she fears other families are now losing.
It's heartbreaking. Kids need food, better yet, they need nutrition. Parents, guardians need the same to take care of themselves and also their children.
As the shutdown drags on, more Americans continue to lose food stamps and government support. For now, compromise does not meet compassion.
We keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it.
There needs to be more education and less ignorance. I've personally seen and heard and been a part of groups that come together and create their own food pantry, or they partner with churches or other organizations. So I always say it takes a village, and it really does.
With Canyons News, I'm Jessica Makashima.
California's Department of Social Services says more than 200,000 college students in the state receive SNAP benefits. As food insecurity rises, here's one place COC students can find assistance without judgment.
With a record-breaking government shutdown putting assistance programs on hold, some students turn to campus resources for help. The Basic Needs Center, or BANC, is working to fill the gap left by CalFresh and other government programs.
The students that we're seeing have a lot more anxiety, there's a lot more concern, a lot more, I guess, unknowingness of how the month is going to look for them.
Since 2021, the bank has been serving COC students to help lower the stress of food insecurity. Every semester, they help students fill their plates without emptying their wallets.
When school's in session, we get a lot more people in here, up to like 200 or 300 a day.
With many students wondering whether they'll have food on their tables, the bank has put in extra work to keep its pantry stocked.
We did have a pretty major food drive for CalFresh students on account of the government shutdown preventing the CalFresh from actually going through for a lot of people.
The bank collects donations from retailers and pantries across the Santa Clarita Valley, but individuals can make a difference too.
If you have any school supplies like backpacks, notebooks that you've never used, pencils you've never used, you can bring them in and we'll just give them out to students.
More than just material donations, students need to know that the bank is here to support them. They need people to spread the word, visit, and ask what they can do to help their fellow students.
Our job or our goal is really to overcome barriers that students are having or help them overcome their own barriers.
And remember, the bank isn't just here for others. It's here for you, too.
From calls for civil rights to standing up against injustice, the American street has always been a powerful place for political change. As millions take to the pavement in nationwide rallies, we ask the crucial question: what drives ordinary people to hold signs, chant slogans, and join a crowd? Reporter Terry Collier tells us more.
People across the nation are filling the streets. The United States is no stranger to protests. There's a long history of citizens striking back against injustices for civil rights, gun rights, and against mass deportations.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
Why do people attend protests?
There's something called social reinforcement. There's also vicarious reinforcement. And society, or at least subpopulations and groups, can reinforce and or punish participation. So I think some people are getting reinforcement socially from their groups. You know, hey, are you going to this rally? You know, I'm going to be there. Do you want to go together?
Up with the people! Up with the people! The First Amendment of the United States Constitution provides protection for the right to a peaceful public assembly and the right to free speech. According to Statistica, the number of political protests held during Trump's first 9 months in office this year have more than tripled compared to the same period in his first term.
Trying to, protest our freedom of speech, that what our parents taught us, and, because they don't think that we don't know anything.
So they can do as many No Kings rallies as they want. For people that can't differentiate between a man and a woman, definitely can't differentiate between a king and a president, so.
Organizers claim that President Trump's alleged abuse of power fueled the October 2025 No Kings nationwide rally, which drew millions. Anybody want to come on the bus? Citizens often mobilized to other locations to join larger protests.
And looking at being incredibly creative in the way in which we protest. In those crazy outfits, sometimes we mean no harm. We're here, we're passively protesting, and it's all about First Amendment rights.
This is Terry Mitchell Collier reporting for Canyons News.
Artificial intelligence has many students and blue-collar workers concerned about their future, as many of their job tasks are starting to be automated. Reporter Dylan Keir joins us live to bring you more details. Dylan?
Thanks, Robin. AI has been used by just about everyone. However, it's starting to become more than just a personal tool. The graduating class of 2025 submitted more applications than the class of 2024 and still received a smaller amount of job offers. And COC is working on re-educating people into more sustainable careers now that AI is in the picture.
Have you walked into a McDonald's recently and seen the empty counter? With minimum wage continuously rising in California, workers are being replaced by automated systems as AI begins to take over many career fields.
And I think we have to figure out, how can we build a society that, gives people what they need and that doesn't cause, rampant unemployment, not just among young people, but among, middle-aged people, older people as well.
AI is mostly affecting the white-collar workforce, which can have a direct impact on college majors that rely on administrative tasks for work. Companies like UPS and Amazon are cutting over 10,000 white-collar jobs, which can leave some COC students out of luck.
Going to be many learners of all ages returning to the community college, in particular, to get those certifications, industry recognized certifications, in order to do the work that they need to do.
With many entry-level jobs under the threat of AI, there are still many career options here at COC that need a human's touch. Welding is one of them, and it offers high career earning potential. Starting the welding program is as easy as signing up for any other class at COC. Former students have gone to work in the aerospace and industrial industries. There are so many little details that go into welding that it demands the nuance of the human mind.
Salary expectations, if you're a good welder, you have the good certifications, anywhere from 80 to 100 grand to start off with. That's welding. The jobs are in high demand.
Companies using AI in place of humans have had a surge of productivity. However, there will always be resources here at College of the Canyons to take control of your future. Outside of Mentry Hall, my name is Dylan Keir with Canyons News. Back to you in the studio.
Wildfires across California have left lasting impacts on local wildlife, including here in Santa Clarita. Leah Pastorio shows us how increased coyote sightings are raising new concerns for residents.
Coyotes are becoming a common sight in Santa Clarita neighborhoods, and experts say one of those reasons can be traced back to this year's wildfires. When flames tore through local canyons, they destroyed acres of natural habitat. Now, animals that once lived deep in the hills are showing up in suburban streets, searching for food, water, and safety.
When the wildfires occur, it burns a lot of land. It burns a lot of vegetation that their prey animals might eat. Coyotes are a very important part of the community, of course. They've been around for thousands of years. All right, we've kind of encroached into their habitat, into their territories. We're actually taking over their traditional lands, and so they're spreading out. They're wanderers to begin with in order to find their basic needs.
Coyotes aren't becoming more aggressive, just more visible. Ranger Frank says education and prevention are key to keeping both people and wildlife safe.
A lot of people get scared when they're walking their dogs or they're walking on a trail when they're eating or whatever. The coyote's following them because they smell it. And people freak and, oh, here, take my food. You know, they give them their food, and then the coyote starts to associate people with food again, and that's part of their challenge. You just got to be coyote smart. Be aware of your surroundings. Know what to do and what not to do. Don't run from a coyote if you see one. Make as much noise as you can. Bang pots and pans. Clap, blow a whistle. Do whatever you need to distract that coyote and make him think that you are a potential harm.
While coyotes may seem closer than ever, they're simply adapting to survive. And as Santa Clarita continues to rebuild from wildfires, it's up to the community to stay alert and keep coexistence safe. From Canyons News, I'm Leah Pastorio.
Coming up next on Canyons News, a familiar Hollywood icon shares what drives him to participate in the annual Love Ride fundraiser.
A local conservation center shares how they're caring for one of the most endangered species in the ape family. Stay tuned.
If there's a story in Santa Clarita, Canyons News is on it. Our student journalists are constantly working hard to bring you impactful stories on and off campus.
Out-of-the-box ideas.
From hard stories impacting our community, features on our city's most interesting residents, and constant sports updates from teams and events around the Santa Clarita Valley. From COC students, we're constantly keeping an eye on the city to bring you important updates about your home, bringing stories that relate to you and those around you. We're always out in the field and in our studio asking questions around the community so we can give our residents the voice they deserve, as our goal is to bring you reliable and important news straight from the people that make these stories possible.
This past weekend, Castaic Lake marked the ending point of another Love Ride, a fundraiser hosted by Harley-Davidson. Here's Canyons News reporter Joey Gomez with the story.
It's going to be a really, really fun day, man, so rock and roll.
This most recent Sunday on November 9th, Harley-Davidson hosted the return of their Love Ride event, a ride from Glendale up to Castaic Lake for a festival of food, music, and the love of motorcycles. The Love Ride began all the way back in 1984 as a means of fundraising for money for muscular dystrophy foundations, and this year was the first since 2019, as the event was put on hold since COVID.
And I knew when I went home that night I had blisters in my feet, so I figured if I'm going to do this again, this is going to be a labor of love. And then somebody says, well, you should just call it the Love Ride. So that was back in 1984.
One of the members of the board of directors and honorary grand marshal is actor Robert Patrick. Most known for his role in Terminator 2, he is a co-owner of SCV's Harley-Davidson, as he fell in love with motorcycles and wanted to help fundraise for wounded warriors.
I come from a family of warriors. My grandfather was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, World War I, World War II, Korea.
Most importantly, the event is about community. The music, motorcycles, and special guests like Gene Simmons and Jay Leno bring together bikers from all over the state to enjoy one another's company.
I think it's the camaraderie. I mean, how many times do you see 7,000 people get together and not one fight, not one argument, everybody's doing their thing and enjoying it? I mean, how many times?
If you ride motorcycles, you're looking for a place to go. We're giving you a place to go. Beautiful Lake Castaic. It's gorgeous. The weather's beautiful. We're out here on our Harley-Davidsons. We're having the best ride. We had a 55-mile ride. It was fantastic to get here. And then the culmination, of course, is with the band.
For Canyons News, I'm Joey Gomez.
It was a playful time at a recent puppy adoption event. Pups and Cups Adopt Don't Shop was filled with excitement, smiles, and a few happy barks. Here's more on how a local animal shelter sought to help these animals find their perfect homes. Furry friends and coffee filled the air in Stevenson's Ranch as the Pups and Cups Adopt Don't Shop event brought together every animal lover across the community. The Castaic Animal Shelter and the Ware Foundation came together to help seek a loving home for dogs because it is what they deserve.
Our goal is to just give dogs a voice. So we are here to pull them out of the shelter when we can, train them, rehabilitate them, and then find them homes.
Staff and volunteers spent the afternoon introducing these playful dogs to families in hopes that they would find their new home.
Right now we have 4 dogs available for adoption. We actually have a family of 3, and then we have 1 little pug that's about 6 years old.
LA County animal shelters have reached the point of being overcrowded, and there are reasons for why that is. from saving stray dogs to families bringing them in because they simply can't afford to.
Sometimes they come from strays. A lot of times they're just found wandering the streets, or some people do surrender them. Whether someone's purchased a dog and maybe didn't realize the responsibilities that come with a puppy, because it can be a lot in the very beginning.
And even if you're not able to adopt one of the lovable pups, you can donate to the Ware Foundation to contribute to the help of these animals in need of homes.
The donations go to feeding the dogs, help pay for medical care, dogs that we actually pull from the shelter with our rescue organization.
This is not just an event, it is a solution to end overcrowded shelters and a goal to make sure these pups one day connect with their forever homes.
Your heart's in the right place. Of course, we always want people to be able to have the resources to care for the dog, because adopting a dog is a lifelong commitment for the dog. So we just want to make sure that they're set up for success.
For Canyons News, I'm Melina Guzman. Furry friends and
Our rare and endangered cousins have been charming Santa Clarita for nearly half a century. Their home, a world-renowned center, is working to ensure their voices are never lost. Our reporter, Deborah Morth, takes us there.
A visit to SCV's Gibbon Conservation Center shows why these singing, swinging acrobats are some of the most extraordinary primates on Earth. Sophia Payton, animal care specialist, says the center cares for 5 of the world's 20 gibbon species, some on the brink of extinction.
The Gibbon Conservation Center is home to 40 gibbons, and gibbons are small apes from Southeast Asia. We participate in conservation efforts.
Their songs echo through the trees, but their family life feels surprisingly familiar.
So gibbons are a lot like us humans. They actually live in family groups. A mated pair will come together and they'll have offspring together, and we have family groups here.
In the rainforest, there are many species.
There are 20 total, and we have 5 here. They live up in the treetops in the rainforests of Southeast Asia.
Listen to one of nature's most powerful sounds.
Gibbons are the second loudest land animal on the planet. These guys do these incredible songs in the rainforest to mark their territory and to bond with their families. And you can hear them sing.
The center's message is simple: respect and protect these wild animals.
No primate should ever be a pet. Their needs are just far too complicated, and they're dangerous to people. Some gibbons are as strong as 3 people.
Visitors of all ages can meet the gibbons and learn about conservation on public tours every weekend.
The Gibbon Conservation Center is a nonprofit organization. We are open to the public every weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. for our public tour.
I'm Deborah Morth, reporting for Canyons News.
College of the Canyons hosted a presentation to help students better understand obsessive-compulsive disorder. Canyons News reporter Yasmin Quintana shows how this event aimed to clear up common misconceptions about OCD.
Students at College of the Canyons attended a presentation titled Obsessive Compulsive Disorder, It's Not What You Think. The event was hosted by the Student Health and Wellness Center featured licensed psychologist Dr. Michelle Witkin, who discussed the realities of OCD and addressed common misconceptions of it.
So some common misconceptions are that people with OCD are picky, germaphobes, who like things organized in a certain way. You know, a lot of times when people say I'm so OCD, what they mean is I like things a certain way, or I like to do things a certain way. What I want people to know about OCD is that OCD is actually torture to the people that have it. That OCD involves having unwanted thoughts, images, or urges that show up, and they can be about any topic at all. Not necessarily, it can be, but it's not necessarily about cleanliness or things being arranged, right? But it's having thoughts come into your head that feel horrible.
Dr. Woodkin explained that OCD is a mental health disorder marked by obsessions and compulsions. It involves having unwanted thoughts that cause anxiety and repetitive behaviors people do to try to feel better. These thoughts and actions can take up a lot of time and make daily life harder if not treated.
They wish that they weren't bothered by the thoughts and images, and they wish that they didn't have to do the behaviors. The behaviors aren't preferences. they're a cycle a person's caught up in that is causing their life to suffer.
Dr. Whitkin shared a video with resources like International OCD Foundation and OCD Southern California. She said these organizations provide reliable information, self-help tools, and connections to professional treatment for people experiencing OCD symptoms. For Canyons News, I'm Yasmin Quintana.
Tired of the November gloom? Our very own Canyon Country campus had its annual garden walk to cheer people up with local plant and bird facts right before the holidays. Reporter James Alfaro has the details from those who attended.
This is a spittle bug, and what they do is they basically spit out of their butt.
For those who still wanted to enjoy the fall sunshine, Professor Jeannie Cherry oversaw the garden walk and explained the variety of local birds and plants to both students and local community members.
I saw there was a billboard at the Valencia campus advertising it, and my mom also saw that and she was like, oh, we should do it, so we decided to come here together. I think I preferred the plants more just because I'm not that familiar with all of the plants names, so it was cool to hear their names and the different types and if they're native or not. But I still enjoyed seeing the birds and animals. I just preferred the plants more.
I love the sycamores and the toyons and the sages. You know, I'm a sucker for them all. Started being interested in plants, love Yosemite, but I couldn't do a lot of hiking. But what I could do is sit in a meadow and learn the plants. So I brought my guidebooks with me and my identification books and learned one plant at a time, and just got my curiosity going.
It's interesting. I haven't really done bird watching, so that was interesting. It's unfortunate to hear a lot of the birds are not coming back like they used to, but it was very educational to be able to spot some of them and get some of the statistics to know about what the campus has. I would like to come here again. A lot of us retired people enjoy doing a variety of activities, and it's nice that it's close by and accessible, and it's also educational.
For Canyons News, this is James Alfaro.
Still ahead, the CIF playoffs kicked off this weekend with a few local teams advancing to the second round. Sports reporter Christian Sukic will have that for you and more.
I'm Gigi Monteforte reporting live. Concussions are one of the most common injuries in contact sports. I'll have details on what experts are saying and what players are doing to stay safe. Stay tuned.
When breaking news happens, we're always there first. The student-driven news agency at College of the Canyons is dedicated to give you the headlines, the facts, and the stories that matter to you. Santa Clarita stories told by the journalists of tomorrow. This is Canyons News. Catch us every other Wednesday on Facebook and YouTube at 9 p.m.
Hello and welcome to Canyon Sports with all your Santa Clarita Valley sports stories and highlights. I'm Christian Sukic. The CIF Southern Section football playoffs got underway last Friday. To kick off the highlights, we begin with the Hart Hawks playing host to the Mayfair Monsoons. The Monsoons come into the contest with a 4-6 record, while QB Jacob Paisano and the Hawks look to secure Hart's first playoff win since 2019. From the jump, Hart looks to get the party started as Paisano turns on the Jets and takes it himself. He rushes in 30 yards for the touchdown. Then Hart comes right back looking for more as Frith Smith just barely breaks the plane as he picks up his first score of the night. Two quick strikes have Hart up 14-0. Waning minutes of the first half, Paisano finds another opening and he gets his second rushing touchdown of the game. He goes for another 30 yards and extends Hart's lead to 21-7. Then in the final 30 seconds, Hart is looking to stay on the gas. Paisano steps back and fires deep for Maddox Frith Smith, who makes the catch. The 35-yard pass would be his second of the game. The beat goes on for Hart. 52-24 is your final. Mayfair season is over, and Hart will head to Palm Springs next Friday to take on the Indians.
You know, the offensive line, you know, they're tough guys and they want to run the ball, you know, so it's nice to be able to run the ball a little bit there in the second half and kind of get that clock moving, and they get it and they got, you know, geared up and they keep it rolling, keep that momentum going, you know. So, you know, I feel good about what we can do. I think we have, you know, players that can make plays, so we try to get the ball in their hands.
The Valencia Vikings had won 3 consecutive Foothill League titles, but are also on a 3-game losing streak in the first round of the CIF playoffs. They aim to break that streak as they face the Palos Verdes Sea Kings. The Vikings started strong, scoring 2 quick touchdowns and a third on a 37-yard run by quarterback Brady Bretthauer. The Vikings take a 27-14 lead into the half. The Sea Kings make a strong comeback in the third quarter by forcing the Vikings' second fumble of the game. This sets up a 23-yard touchdown run by Dominic Hernando, giving Palos Verdes a narrow 28-27 lead. The Vikings get their act together as the third quarter ends with this 65-yard TD pass from Bretthauer to Anthony Veron. The lead change has Valencia up 34-28. The Sea Kings answer back as QB Ryan Rakowski hits Cameron Hughes for a 32-yard touchdown pass, retaking the lead 35-34. Then, with 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, the Vikings fumbled for the third time in the game on a punt, leading to an easy recovery and a touchdown by Weston Rise, which put the Sea Kings ahead for good as they ended the Vikings' playoff hopes with a 42-34 victory.
We just hurt for the seniors that this, you know, had to come to an end. A guy like Brady and Bonner, you can hold down the list, Aiden Enns and our center, Anderchick, and all these different people that put so much into it. So they're all special people. They'll all one day get past it, as we all do, and just tonight they're hurting.
In the next round of the playoffs, Palos Verdes will play Dana Hills at 7 p.m. on Friday. For Valencia, their season has come to an end. After 3 seasons of missing out on postseason play, Saugus won 8 games and finished third in Foothill League play to punch that playoff ticket. The Centurions fired up for a Division VII matchup against Sure of Montebello. Quarterback Jake Nuttall got to work in the first quarter. His screen pass to Trey Lewis should have been an easy 6, but out comes the football. Good things the Cents were there to jump on the football for the touchdown. It's 7-0 Saugus. But it didn't take long for Sure to answer. The freshman Jacob Torres fires to Tyler Higashi, and he is gone. It's a 48-yard house call. Higashi with 3 TDs in the first half as Sure eventually led 19-7. No quit in Saugus, though. Look at Nuttall air it out 43 yards to a wide-open Landon Lattimore. That touchdown midway through the fourth quarter put Saugus up 20-19. And then moments later, the Centurions go for 2, and it's Nuttall to Justin Alvarez, and he's wide open. What a comeback. Saugus goes on to stun Sure 22-19, and will now play Calabasas here at COC on Friday night. A dream season continues for the Centurions.
It's extremely satisfying considering that, you know, these group of kids, these last, 2 years going, obviously this year too, because many of these kids were sophomores 2 years ago, experienced a tremendous amount of, disappointment and frustration. We were 0-10 and, 23. We were 2-8 and 24. And, a lot of these kids had opportunities to maybe transfer and go to other schools, but they decided to stick the course and stay here, and they believed in us and we believed in them. And, I'm really happy for them.
The College of the Canyons Cougars closed out their football season with a strong performance against Bakersfield. Reporter Michael Garcia shows us how COC finished the year on a high note.
The College of the Canyons Cougars wrapped up their final game of the season in a matchup that turned into a fourth quarter battle. Running back Isaiah Ramu gets things going early, powering through the Green Gates defense. Quarterback Giselle Riley finds wide receiver Isaiah Kozubek in the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. COC heads into halftime up 10-0, controlling both sides of the ball. In the fourth quarter, Bakersfield finally responds. Quarterback Carson Woods drops a deep ball to Jadaniel Nettles, waking up the Green Gates offense. Nettles breaks loose again and scores, tying the game at 10. With the scoreboard even, the pressure shifts back to COC. Riley scrambles for a big gain, pushing the Cougars inside the red zone. From the 20-yard line, Riley connects with Paul Camden for a huge touchdown to retake the lead. But the Renegades fired back with a deep pass from Malachi Stadler to Amarius Rowell, setting up for one final drive. With under 30 seconds left and COC up 17-10, the Cougars need one last defensive stop. Stadler takes a shot at the end zone, but defensive back Kane McCoy jumps the route and intercepts it, stealing the win for COC. After the win, head coach Ayasenda shares his thoughts on how his team fought to the end.
I think we just found some belief and some fight, and this is a team that has fought hard all year. We've had a lot of close games. We've kind of lost at the end, but the second half of the season, we found the will and the fight to finish these close games, and it's really impressive the way we did it today.
The Cougars close out the season celebrating on their home field, ending the year with a hard-earned 17-10 victory. This is Canyons News. I'm Michael Garcia.
Well, one hit is all it takes to change an athlete's life forever. Concussions are still a growing concern in sports, but new efforts are helping players recognize the signs and stay safe. Reporter Gigi Monteforte is live to tell us more. Gigi?
Thanks, Christian. As competition gets tougher and the hits get harder, concussions have become one of the biggest safety concerns in sports today. I spoke with medical experts and a player about what's being done to keep athletes safe and why reporting symptoms early might be the most important play of all. As athletes push for stronger performances on the field, the risks to their brains are becoming harder to ignore. Football and soccer remain two of the leading sports for concussions, and experts say early reporting and new protective gear could be the key to stopping serious and even life-threatening injuries before they happen. Players and coaches are now tackling it head-on. The CDC estimates up to 3.8 million sports-related concussions occur in the U.S. each year, many going unreported. Before athletes can prevent concussions, they need to understand them.
In sports per se, like football, or if you even just hit your head on the floor, that's the physics of your brain. It's basically floating in your head, and when it moves vigorously, it hits against your own skull. So that's where the injury occurs.
Identifying warning signs early and getting medical evaluation is critical. Common symptoms include headache, dizziness, blurred vision, confusion, and nausea. And experts say none of these should be taken lightly.
Things that you don't mess with in sports. You know, we test the waters with a lot of ankle sprains, knee injuries, shoulder injuries. Athletes play through orthopedic issues all the time. They're able to get through it, and they're not serious enough where it's going to cause any major long-term damage. But with the brain, that can cause major long-term damage.
Returning to play too soon after a concussion puts athletes at risk for a life-threatening traumatic brain injury.
There's a very rare condition called second hit syndrome, where if someone gets a concussion and they got a head injury on top of that, could eventually just end up dying.
To lower risks, schools and athletes are focusing on prevention. Equipment like Guardian caps worn over helmets during practice can reduce impact by up to 33%. But gear is only part of the solution. Awareness and right technique are just as important.
But a lot of the time I can't really control getting hit, but a lot of it's just about how I go about protecting my body when I'm going for a ball.
The message to athletes is simple. If you think you might have a concussion, sit out and get checked. It could protect your future off and on the field. Reporting live from College of the Canyons, I'm Gigi Monteforte. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Gigi. Puka Nacua is certainly enjoying his third season with the Rams. He caught his fourth TD of the year in LA's win over the 49ers this past Sunday. And Nacua pre-gamed his trip to Santa Clara with a detour right here in Santa Clarita. Hundreds of fans turned out at Dick's Sporting Goods Friday night for a special appearance courtesy one of the NFL's top receivers. Nacua's 90-minute visit is part of the store's grand reopening. Nacua sat in front of a brand new house of cleats. Not sure if he picked up a pair, but he did get a chance to meet and take photos with eager fans. The College of the Canyons women's basketball team is putting in long hours of preseason training. With only a few returners and a roster full of new faces, the focus this fall is on teamwork and preparation. Reporter Valerie Diaz has more.
With the home opener just days away, the team is working to sharpen every part of their game, from offensive sets to defensive communication, all while building chemistry on the court.
The focus of our training right now is refining everything that we want to do. Man offense, man defense, our zone offense, our out-of-bounds plays, getting everything ready so that when we start playing live, that we're ready to go and that we can execute what we want to execute.
Compared to last year, the coaching staff says this group is showing more confidence, allowing practices to move beyond the basics. The sophomores have also stepped up to guide the incoming freshmen through drills and tougher competition.
We had a great group of girls last year, but this year I think that our skill level has improved, and so we're focusing more on some of the basketball things instead of some of the fundamentals that we worked a lot with last year. And so as we move forward and we build the program, hopefully we can keep that going and have a good year this year with it.
For the new players, it's not just about adjusting to the speed of the college game. It's also about learning how to support each other.
To be like more uplifting towards each other and then like winning, just setting goals for ourselves.
As the team continues to prepare, both returners and newcomers are focused on trust, energy, and execution, hoping to turn that hard work into a strong start on November 15th. For Canyons News, I'm Valerie Diaz.
Both the COC men's and women's cross-country teams have made the 3C2A state championship meet. Both Cougar squads will be lacing up in Fresno on the 22nd. Sophomore Victoria Jameson finished 10th, placing the women's squad 6th, while the men's placed 16th. This will be the third straight year where both the men and women's teams will be in a championship meet, and the 6th straight year where the women's program will be in a championship. Out in Ventura, the COC women's golf team will be moving on to the 3C2A state championships. Saya Kitapatake picks up where she left off and individually placed first with a first round score of 73 and a second round score of 72. The women's golf team secured a third place finish with a 340 and 336 score. The team will head to Solvang next Sunday and Monday to compete for the title. Seasons can get rocky, especially when the team is pushing toward the finish line. Canyons News reporter Emily Veramontes has more on how one team plans to finish strong.
When conference started, we we're on a roller coaster. We've won some, we lost some, we tied.
We obviously started off our season the best we have in a really long time.
After opening the season with a 9-0 record, the best start in program history, the women's soccer team has since stumbled, dropping 3 games and tying 2. The team has shifted into defense mode, working to avoid a full-on slump. But their hopes never waver as their team dynamic keeps them encouraged.
And we are a strong team this year as well, but I feel like our ability to just go out there and leave it all on the field kind of just describes how our team is united as one.
Kicking out their negative thoughts and throwing in support to one another are ways they move past their hardships and reset their mindset for each game.
But I feel like the way that we came back from our losses show the dedication and the determination that we have to not only play for ourselves, but also play for each other.
I think we just all have to remind each other that we're here for one reason and we all want to win.
Honestly, just focusing on the next game and not worrying about the past. There's no reason to dwell on the 2 losses that we had.
As their season comes to an end, there is only one thing on their minds.
If we lose the next game, then I don't think we'll be first in conference, and I think we definitely want the first title.
I think if we all just work together and we all play for each other, that will pull off the result that we want.
For Canyons News, I'm Emily Veramontes.
Canyons News has since learned that the women's soccer team has clinched the Western State South Conference Championship title with a 3-2 win over LA Valley. Due to seeding placement, the team's first playoff game is to be determined. That does it for this edition of Canyons News. I'm Christian Sukic. Remember, you can catch us on the web at canyonsnews.com. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our X handle, canyonsnews_COC, and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Have a good night.